Back to school is a period in which most parents spend a sleepless night. Sleepless because they are not having it easy meeting up with the requirements for their children to go back to school. At a time when the economic strength of each family is gradually becoming weak or slow or low, such sleepless nights gradually become nightmare for most parents. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching interview here on DBS television, and in this edition we are talking back to school, and we want to look at what parents should consider during this period of back to school. Our guest for today is an educationist and the proprietor of the American Foundation Academy in BONABERI, DOUALA. We are talking about Mr. Isaac Sunday. Good afternoon, sir, and thank you for accepting to talk to us in this edition of interview.
Good afternoon, Mr. VErnasius. I do appreciate it. The pleasure is mine. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much, sir. Like we said in our lead, this period is a moment for parents to prepare for their children to go back to school. But we'll begin with you as a parent. How has this period been for you as a parent, like every other parent?
Like it is commonly known that the best gift for any father to give to the child is education. We start pondering where to send our children immediately the third term semester is over. So it's a kind of a gradual process within 3 months. So we've been able to go through it, and I can assure you that where the children have started going to school now, they are in the good academic background. And also, you know, the academic calendar for America and Cameroon, they are not the same. So my kids, they started school about a month ago. So right now, everything is gradually settling down.
Thank you so much, sir. But we must indicate that you are live from the United States of America, and the situation out there is different from the situation that we have back home. You understand the situation back home as well, but we want to find out from you. You are in the field. What are those priorities that parents need to consider at this very period for their children to go back to school?
Thank you very much. I would like to mention that there are a couple of points or a couple of things parents really need to consider where to send their children to school, and they need to look at the academic quality of the school. They need to look at the school environment, location and convenience of the school. One thing is cost and affordability. They should also look into extracurricular activities for this particular school, and the moral value that this school can bring into the life of their children. Some parents may also decide to look on special needs and talent, future opportunities, and basically recommendation and review from other parents who have attended, who have kids in that particular school. So it will now depend on the individual what they are looking for. That will determine where they can send their children.
All right, sir. Let us come back to look at other issues that are found cut across practically in every school. I want to talk about how local schools address issues of issues such as overcrowding. How should that be done so that we could give children the opportunity to study well?
Well, I just think that every proprietress should be able to set limit of the total number of students or kids that they need to be admitted in school, and they should be able to respect the capacity of what their school can accommodate, because there is no reason of you having 7 classrooms in room 400 students just because you have because you have the population. Every proprietor or proprietress should be able to consider the capacity of their school and make sure that they respect it the due time.
All right, sir. We are talking about overcrowding, and proprietors should be able to limit the enrollment that they have. You know, most of these proprietors, in fact, all of them, they are of the lay private, even confessional. But do you think that the issue of limiting the enrollment, can that be a reality back home where schools can decide to say that, okay, we are going to have only 20 pupils or 20 students in one classroom? Can that be a reality in our country?
That's a very tough question to ask, and to answer. The reason being that the first thing we need to look at it is what are some of the causes of this educational environment. We're looking at the cost and affordability. Many parents are kind of poor, so they will prefer to send their children where they're going to pay less tuition and have less educational value, because due to hard time, they are unable to actually afford those prestigious schools, reference schools that have high tuition. So it's a very, very pertinent situation in Cameroon that I cannot really justify it. But like in case of my school, the population of my school limit is 450. But once we hit 450, we stop registration, despite parents still knocking our door to enroll children. And this is just because we want to give the children the best of education that they deserve. So in terms of Cameroon, it will really depend. For instance, with a lot of migration from other cities most of the schools are those that at the entrance of these cities, they are really, really overcrowded, especially schools that they have less tuition. So I will throw back the question to you: what do you think that we could do to us to really limit overcrowdedness in schools?
All right. Thank you so much. But then let's come back to this issue you are raising of coming up a school. When you talk of 450, do you mean 450 class or 450 the entire school?
I mean the total population to be admitted in my school is 450 pupils, judging from the capacity, meaning that my school can only accommodate 4 students. When once we hit 400, we close registration and we are moving forward.
Now, do you give that information to parents? Are parents aware? Because when you go for admission, they just, in most schools, what you do is you just go once and you pay your money, they take the child. We don't see them. But then, let us look at the infrastructure. Besides overcrowding, let's look at the issue of infrastructure. Classroom sizes, we are talking about overcrowding. The infrastructure, what about the notion of benches, the chalkboard, the lighting? We are in Douala that is as hot as it is. All these, do they count too?
Well, I'm sorry, there was some little glitch, but I got your last point. All those that, when we talk about 450 students in the school entirely, most of those infrastructure, the material that needs to accommodate these children have already been provided. Judging from the fact that there are some schools which are standard schools, they have provision of all this material put in place before registration and admission ever began. So I don't know issue, especially with some reference schools in Douala.
All right. Now, let's talk about the issue of infrastructure, like I was saying, to find out the number of benches, how many students per bench, what is the quality of the benches even, what is the quality of the chalkboard, what are the quality of accessories, maybe fans or air conditioning. We know that Douala is a city or a locality that is hot. This needs to be considered too by parents when registering their children.
It's a very good point. And the question I always ask is that how many of these parents are capable to afford, these reference schools that they have the air condition, the fans, and so on and so forth, before they choose it. And judging from the poor nature of our country, there are even some parents that do not even have fans at their home of air condition. Parents always consider those, but in the long run, we, like the proprietor, it becomes very difficult because we have AC, air conditions that there are sometimes we stay for 1 week without electricity, and sometimes even if we have light, we have the electricity, the voltage is so low that we cannot even run the AC. So if you go to like a school like American Foundation Academy, you will realize that we have come up with another strategy of putting simple fans in each classroom that during the low voltage moment we could run them. But still, how are you going to run those fans if you don't have electricity? We even went into to see how we could come in with extra power, like a standby generator. That is the only way. But to run that generator for 30 minutes is going to cost you 15,000. And if you multiply it, if you run the whole day, you put the logistics and checks and balances, you see that's not worth it. So I believe that education in Cameroon, especially DOUALA that we are mentioning, is survival of the fittest, and we have to keep on working and utilizing what is available to make the children learn what they need to.
Thank you so much, sir. You understand that. So, like you indicated, somebody who is venturing into that sector must be somebody who is standing on the ground, whose idea is not profit driven, but the motive that he has to let the children have a quality education. But then you raised issues concerning about moral values that are supposed to be transferred or supposed to be handed over to the children. Can you say something more about it with the context that we have in our society, social media, and the exposure that we children have to internet? Those moral values that we need to have in our schools.
When it comes to religious and moral value, it's one of the major concerns that every parent not only teach their children moral, it has to begin at home, as the layman way says that charity begins at home, and the best education to give to your child begins at home. For the past years, I come to discover that many parents do not really bring up their children in a good moral way, and they are expecting the teachers, they are expecting the school, they are mounting pressure on schools, teachers, trying to reshape a bended tree, their children that they have been growing up with a different moral value. Let me just use this opportunity to touch base on this point you mentioned about moral value. People are so money-minded that they do not spend time with their children to teach them what they need to know as moral upbringing is concerned. The father goes to work at 7 and return home at 6 p.m. when the children are already sleeping. The same way like the wife, they take these children, they put them in daycare, or they give them to nanny, and you never know what they are teaching your child, and you expect the best from your child. And when the child is not doing well in terms of moral upbringing, they tend to lay the blames on the teacher, on the student, on the proprietor, on the school. And I wanted to reiterate that the idea of moral upbringing, it is not only the teachers themselves or the school. It has to start from home, and the parent should be the primary tool to teach their children moral value and religion, because religion also play an essential part in our society today. You will not be surprised to see, if you see what our 12 years children are doing in school. Even you and I sitting here, we did not do that when we were 20, 25 years old. So the social media has reshaped the society in such a way that parents need to constantly monitor their children, what they are watching on social media, what they are, the type of program they run on TVs and so on and so forth, to make sure that these children should not be hijacked by social media activities. Because if you don't train your child to grow up with your attitude, the social media will shape them to grow up in the social media attitude, which is a big societal ills today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. But then you spoke about bringing in parents here who are supposed to be collaborators with the school or with the teachers for the upbringing of these children. Now, let us look at how the teachers, and by extension the school, how are they supposed to communicate with the parents, perhaps throughout the year, to make sure that they can address issues like behavioral concern of the children or the academic concern of the children with the parents. How should they communicate perhaps throughout the year? Because it is already a partnership between the parent, the school, the teacher, and the child concerned. How should that communication exist?
First and foremost, you need to understand that we are living in a society where technology has hijacked everything. And if I want to reference it, I will reference the communication, the parent-teacher communication in my school. So every classroom have a WhatsApp group where parents can easily contact their teacher, where teachers can contact the teacher, their parents through, through the social media called the WhatsApp, which is a common social media use in Cameroon today. We are trying to subscribe into Google Meet classroom where parents can actually sign in and see their children's performance, and if there is any moral concern, that teachers can talk directly to their parents, because sometimes writing letters to parents, some parents do not even, when they take this letter, they do not even read it to understand what the teacher is saying. So with the social media today, we're really doing everything possible to make sure that that cordial relationship between the teacher and the parents should be reinforced, to make sure that they can communicate, they can ask questions, to know the performance of their children from the teacher right away, not waiting for 1 week, or not having a situation that needs to be addressed as soon as possible, and they have to wait and come to school or do one or two things. Like, for instance, in American Foundation Academy, most parents, they are mostly overseas. They are in America, they are in Canada, they are in Britain, and so on and so forth. So they have the opportunity to actually, communicate, to know the performance of their children on daily basis. It does need to sign in with your child's sign ID, and you'll be able to ask any question, and the class teacher will be able to respond to you accordingly. But going to other mushroom school, I think it's a little bit difficult, because to get information, either the teacher will need to write a letter to the parent, or the parent will have to visit the school. And it's a little bit difficult when they have to deal with the traditional style of communication, which, it's a very, very difficult thing to answer that question. But I think that if you are in a modern school that has a reference school, you should be able to communicate with parents. But don't be surprised that there are some parents, even the teacher tells them what their children is doing, because the parents themselves, they were not well up, they don't have upbringing moral, and what the child is doing, there's that laissez-faire at home. So some parents do not even like teachers to complain, to tell them what their child is doing.
You said something about morals, and I want us to come back to the issue of moral education in our schools. You are in the lay private sector, and what people will normally consider is maybe it is only in confessional schools, maybe Catholic schools, Presbyterian, Baptist schools, Islamic schools, where they can talk about morality. What is the reality in your own school? You are a lay private proprietor. What reality about the transmission of those moral values, religious education in your school precisely?
So the good thing is that majority of my staff, they are Christians. And we always try, moral and educate and academics, they are interwoven, so they work hand in hand. So we have every week we have three sessions of devotion. That's Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, where we have a 30-minute morning meditation and moral upbringing. And throughout the week, we also have other staffs that, like a chaplain that moved to various classrooms within 30 minutes of their time, and they talk about moral upbringing and Christian value. The only issue we have sometimes is that there are some parents who do not want, I don't know what is their faith or what is their Christian background. They always want these students to be exempted during this morning meditation, where we have to pray, we need to sing, we need to teach them what it takes to become a God-fearing child, is somebody with a good background, or with a good moral reputation. So at times it becomes a difficult nut for us to crack, especially in my school, where we have Muslims, we have parents who do not even believe in Christianity, and we have parents, like I mentioned, that do not even believe that there's something that their children is doing which is wrong. They see everything that their child is doing to be correct. So those are the little difficulty we encounter, but with the 3 days morning meditation every week, I think that is sufficient enough to shape the children at our own level as Alpha is concerned. Because like I mentioned, when it comes to moral upbringing, both the parent, the teachers, and the school has a greater part to play.
All right, sir. We are gradually pulling to the end of the program, but then somewhere you mentioned about special needs children or children with special needs. I want to equate them with displaced Cameroonians. You know, we are living in a situation where our country, most of our children from the English-speaking regions, the Northwest and the Southwest, have been displaced by the ongoing crisis into the neighboring regions, DOUALA being one of the host regions. Now, you are located in BONABERI, and in BONABERI, we understand that there is high influx of internally displaced Cameroonians who are living in BONABERI. What is the place you give to these internally displaced Cameroonians who are living in BONABERI? What place is Alpha offering for them?
I wanted to make this point clear that American Foundation Academy, it's a school that was personally, it's like a gift. It's like to community, which it is not of a money-making business. This is like a charity or something that I decided to give to my community. And giving something to your community, not everybody may be opportune to benefit from it. So this year, I've launched Isaac Sunday's American Foundation Academic Scholarship Program, where I put down 3 million francs CFA to sponsor or to give a free scholarship up to 10 students or 10 people who are coming from the affected region or children with special, less privileged children, maybe an orphan. So this program is currently going on in Alpha, where we've offered a sum of 3 million to support those with special needs coming from the Northwest and the Southwest region, affected region. And as years goes by, we will continue to see into their needs and figure out how we can do to make sure that these people, they benefit from these resources that we have in place.
Thank you so much, sir. Like I indicated that our time is running away from us. Before we go away, if you were to talk to those parents in less than a minute, to those parents, what would you tell those parents who are going through such tough periods in Cameroon, in the country? What would you tell them in less than a minute before we go away?
The Bible says that God cannot give you a load that you cannot carry. Whatever situation we are going through in Cameroon today, I just want to encourage the parents that they should continue doing what they are doing, and make the little opportunity that they have to make sure that their children all shouldn't be left behind. I know that some of these children, some of the schools, they are mentioning that there's going to be shut down in Bamenda for the next 1 month. I just wanted to encourage the parents that they should understand that's the situation, and as a determined parent, as a devoted parent, as a parent who want to make sure that their children get the best in life, they should, they should use the lemon that has been given to them to make lemonade or to make lemon juice, because the situation is what it is, and you just need to find a little opportunity to let your child not to be left behind and keep on pushing, because despite the situation, there's always a solution. Like we say, no matter how darker the night is, your sun will still shine. It's a very, very sympathetic situation, but I just want to encourage the parents to be able to, the little resources that they have to make sure that the children should not be left behind. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for accepting to talk to us, and we want to extend our regards to the little baby who is just joining us. We are talking about them, we are talking about their future, and if we have to talk about their future, and she's coming online, we want to greet her specially and to indicate that the interview would be coming back again, hopefully with you, for us to talk about how parents should go on with the school year. We are talking about back to school, but then when we come back next time, we'll be talking about how they should manage their time to make sure that they follow up their children, to make sure that the expenses they go through should be worth, you know, where at the end the children should be successful. Thank you so much for having time to talk to us in this edition, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. VErnasius, and I really appreciate you inviting me for this afternoon request. Have a blessed day.
Thank you so much, sir. And to all of you watching us, that is all we had time for this edition of interview here on DBS television. If you did not follow us from the beginning, a rebroadcast will be on Tuesday when it will be 5 p.m. Until we meet again on Friday, have a peaceful time on DBS television. Hoping forward to see you when the opportunity comes. Goodbye from all of us here.